Successful nonfiction books all have something in common. Doesn't matter whether it's a how-to, perhaps it might be a memoir. The way I remember it is I use the acronym SHARE. With nonfiction books, these are the books where you want to always offer a solution, hope, answers, relief, and expertise. The acronym SHARE. There are 4 types of categories that we have noted that all fall into this hope, solutions, hope, answers, relief, and expertise category. And they are Soapbox. Now, a Soapbox book is where you have a cause, you have a movement, you have something you want to let the world know about, you want to have people join you. So for an example, we recently did a book called Latinas Rising. It was a collection of essays, 1,500, 2,000 words apiece, and it was all about women involved in business, women in supporting each other, women. There were several women, Latinas, that were in that book who had been in the military and how they are now giving back to other women who are in the military, like big sisters. There were people who had been in the military and are now retired. There were women business owners. There was a Latina chamber director. There was all kinds of women. They each had something in common, is that they were lifting each other up and they were helping each other grow in whatever career that they happened to be in. In the next category we're going to use is struggle. So we have Soapbox, which is a cause or a movement. Struggle is you've experienced something in life. So a really good example of this would be one of our authors. Her name is Debbie Corey. The name of her book is Loving Failure. She's a CPA. She has her own firm called Acumaxum, and she talked about how as a child she saw her grandparents who had their own business, how they struggled. And now as an adult, they're helping other people with their taxes and their accounting and all that fun stuff, all that number stuff that's not always my favorite topic. She has brought that as her mission in life, is to help small business owners create a nest egg from their business so that when it's time to retire, they have a way to make that happen. So we have Soapbox, we have Struggle, and the next type of book that we have noticed creates an impact as a nonfiction book is called The System. So for example, this is an area where you may have your own process, your own way of doing things. So we recently finished a book by one of the founders of the Moneta Finance Group here in St. Louis. And that gentleman, the name of that book was called The Fortune of Youth. And his name was Travis Freeman. And it talks about how to create, even when you're in college, how to start using your money in order to create wealth in your family and long-term wealth. The other type of system is a numeric system where, like, we have a contractor who had the name of his book is How to Find the Right Contractor, 9 Questions You Must Ask. So he didn't have 10, he didn't have 12, but he had 9 great questions. And from that, he created a small little pocketbook. His name is Richard Terry. If you're in St. Louis, you'll know him. And the 4th type of nonfiction book that seems to work really well is what I call the societal book. A really good example of a societal book, this could be a community, this could be a group of people, this could be a nonprofit type book. We did a book for Charlie Brennan, who's a local Pamela radio host, also used to have a show on the local PBS station. He, over the years of his radio experience, he kept a file where people would tell him little bits of trivia or fun little short stories about St. Louis. And he would put he'd write them out, and literally I saw them. Some were on backs of napkins, some were on the back of like your bank statement that has a blank page on the back. People would just hand him these little stories, or he'd be out having lunch with people and write it down on whatever he could find. We took those stories and put them into a book for him called Only in St. Louis. And it kind of also gives you the history of St. Louis because we put them in somewhat of a chronological order. That's a societal book. That book is about fans of St. Louis and people that live in St. Louis. Then we have another woman out of Chicago. Her name is Barbara Stewart, and her husband ended up with a long-term illness. She became the caregiver in the family. We did this about 10 years ago. She was actually a physical therapist at a local hospital in the Chicago area, and the name of her book is The Caregiver's Guidebook, Navigating Life as a Caregiver. Now, it was a story about her experience as a caregiver. She was able then to put that book into the hospital gift, what do they call it? The gift center? Yeah, gift shop usually on those are on first floor. And from that, was able to create quite a following of hers, that people would follow her blog and read more about her experience as a caregiver. So there's lots of ways. Just remember, if your book falls into that SHARE acronym, which is solutions, hope, answers, relief, and expertise, you're more than likely onto a really good idea for your nonfiction book. I'm Cathy Davis, daviscreativepublishing.com. We publish nonfiction books and group anthologies. We do all the work and you get all the credit.